Imagine my shock when there is a new TikTok trend that is ruining people's relationships and tearing men and women apart and pitting them against each other. This one is the calling your boyfriend your husband trend. So you record yourself like you're recording a TikTok, and you refer to your boyfriend who is with you as your husband just to gauge his reaction. And then by the way he reacts, you'll know whether he is really husband potential. You will test his loyalty this way.
Guys,
it's a classic shit test, obviously. But
the best thing every guy can do is just pretend like there are no shit tests. Seriously, what I mean by that...
Is that the way to pass them?
What I mean by that is you're going to start... It's going to be like red herrings. You start seeing them everywhere. So just pretend like there are none and be thankful if you never get shit tested because it means that she's not sane. If you do and you fail, she's probably a bad person anyways.
You're right. It's a red flag if a woman doesn't shit test her man because that means she's not even concerned with whether you're a good potential father for her children.
Totally.
It's part of female
She's
nature.
not paying that much attention to you. She's not thinking about you.
You're just
like,
you're just kind of a placeholder. She doesn't need to shit test you.
Her mind is on someone else.
I thought women were the good communicators. The neighbors. I thought women were the good communicators. Is there no
we're
other
good
way to
communicators
do this?
because we don't say what we think out loud.
That's insane.
We understand it on a deeper level, which is why we communicate only with facial expressions and pheromones and shit tests.
No man on earth agrees.
And manipulation tactics. I know that no men agree, but look, this is just nature, baby. You can fight biology and evolution all you want, but you're not going to win. So this man was slammed on TikTok after immediately shutting down his girlfriend for calling him her husband. Should we take a look at this video? The results actually is interesting. Like, I am watching these videos.
The trend, the one from the 9gits article?
This is the tweet from Ren. It says, the difference is crazy.
Yeah, here it is. Okay, so which one? The first video or the second video?
Yeah, the first video.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, today I'm going to be guessing my husband's favorite things.
I'm not your husband.
Ooh.
Oh. So it's like he failed the test there.
I'm not your husband.
What the hell is the right answer?
He failed the test.
Okay. It was the tone.
It was the way that he instantly recoiled at the idea or the suggestion of being her husband. Yes. And that is how she knows that is the sign to run. That is how she knows. Look, okay, we're just joking. We're being silly and goofy, but I think there's something to it. I don't endorse this behavior because you're starting drama for no reason, but I'm not saying there's no internal logic to it.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's not insane, but I can't sit here and psychoanalyze it for you if you'd like. So he didn't laugh it off or like take it as a joke or as an accident. Like, he clearly was really irritated.
Right.
I mean, do you think, like, what do you think? You don't think he came off as irritated? Do you think he was just correcting her?
As far as the tone in the like how quickly he said it,
yeah,
I think that the fact that she did it on purpose makes all of this pointless anyways.
I think he was probably already irritated because it's like, oh, my girlfriend is forcing me to record a TikTok.
Which makes all of this disingenuous and unrealistic anyways.
Yeah, I understand that. Like, I don't know, including your relationship as if you're some kind of influencer and you have a platform is really cringy.
Imagining a life where this happens, and this doesn't just end once you get married. Then the shit tests continue. Hold on. And then the shit tests continue once you get married because there will be all sorts of other tests that they have to do. I'm not trying to live my life as if the woman that I'm dating is giving me exams. Sorry.
No, but she doesn't know she's doing it.
That's even worse.
Look, it's toxic.
That means you're not even self-aware.
Right.
We'll
I mean, women aren't
come to an agreement on
women aren't self-aware. So what? So it's a red flag if a woman is consciously shit testing you. But it's an inevitability. If she's a woman, she's gonna shit test you. She just doesn't know that she's doing it in the moment. It's so subconscious that your passing or failing of the shit test is also subconscious.
I thought women were more in tune with their emotions.
They are. This is why it's all beneath the surface.
I think like the more subconscious it is, the more obnoxious of a person she is, probably.
There's a $20 super. Okay, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think some women are conscious of when they do it. At least in
Yes,
hindsight.
and that's toxic. I think that is toxic.
Ben Tomsky says, okay, check time. If men have to fight their biological urges to sleep with all the women they can, you women need to fight the urge to be game-playing psychos. Fair?
Well, look, I'm just saying this is an evolutionary tactic to find someone who is fit to be your protector and your provider and the father of your kids.
It's also a self-fulfilling prophecy where if things are going a little too well, you're going to inevitably find ways to screw it up by micromanaging the way things go in the relationship.
Right, I understand what you're saying. But what Mary, I believe, is trying to say is that this is a part of our biology that's hardwired into our brains. And Jordan Peterson does actually talk about this, about how we have to push the buttons of the person we may or may not have kids with or are planning to have kids with in order to see how hostile they get in response to that. It's not a conscious thing. It's a protective mechanism for women.
That's actually a really good point.
And I'm not justifying something like this where you do a TikTok trend, because you're already going to subconsciously do it whether you realize it or not. So why add to it?
Then in a lot of ways it ends up becoming moot anyways, because it's like saying a subject being observed will have the entire situation affected by the fact that they're being observed.
Yeah.
Right? So in this case, the fact that it's being done consciously means that it's going, as it becomes a trend and more people start doing it, it loses any effectiveness and just becomes something for people to look at as internet fodder anyway. So it's not actually sussing anything out. All it's doing is potentially ruining a couple of relationships so that other people can look at it and laugh.
Yeah, what it's doing is you're making your boyfriend into a zoo animal for the internet to point and laugh at, which, is undignified.
Under the guise of saying, look, I'm going to help you find a better mate. I'm going to help you figure out whether this guy is the right guy for you, not realizing that if you fall into this trap and you start consciously doing it, it's not going to work.
It's the worst of the worst women who do this to their boyfriends, who not only
But
make
you just
them
said all women do it.
No, I mean specifically this.
Okay.
Like, I'm going to make you sit here and record another stupid relationship TikTok so that I can purposefully shit test you for likes. Like that. These are the worst of the worst
What if
people.
the guy was like, I have to sleep with all the women I meet just to make sure that you're the right one for me? I mean, it's in my nature. I have to make sure that I have to make sure you're the most viable candidate to bear my children.
We
How will I
obviously
know if I don't
that
sleep with all these
hurts
women?
your ability to pair bond with the woman in question. So that doesn't make sense.
I was told that pair bonding was more relevant for women than men.
It's
still
relevant
a
for
thing for
both.
both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if he's like, look, we want to have
Brett's
strong
turning
children.
into an alpha over here.
It's like, you want to have strong children. Like, you got to shit test me, and I'm going to have to sleep with all these women to make sure that you will give me the best children I
that
can
really
have.
is relationships on the internet these days, though.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where we're going at this point.
The problem is
like,
is that it's happening online. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is that this stuff is happening online, and it becomes fodder for people to watch.
Yeah. Just don't imitate relationships you see online. How about that?
It's like the woman who said, like, my boyfriend cried and I got the ick. It's like his dad died and she got the ick. And it's
See,
just like,
that's what we mean. That's toxic.
Yeah.
like, imagine and there are young men out there who read that who are now like, their parents are gonna die and they're just not gonna cry because they're gonna be like, look, I can't
Because
cry.
they believed the propaganda.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, don't get
and the
psyoped.
worst part of that is then she's like, and he's emotionally unavailable, and he won't show me any emotions because we've sent men the other direction now. Now they're all overly emotional, right? Men are overly emotional. They don't know how to be stoic when they need to be stoic. Now it's going to go the other direction. The pendulum's going to swing back, and some girls are like, his whole family died, and he didn't even cry. What the hell is wrong with him? Because the dude read a bunch of content on the internet saying that you shouldn't cry ever.
Yeah.
And the internet is
Bad idea.
It
both
is
a
kind
beautiful
of-
thing and an awful place.
It's terrible because men are being told to control and tame themselves so much, but women aren't as much. Not anymore, it seems, because a woman can push her husband to either be more or less emotional. And if he becomes, if she says, you don't ever talk about your feelings, and he talks about his feelings too much or he cries in front of her, she gets the ick and she neuters him, or vice versa.
What if the guy's like, look, you cry too much. Can you stop that?
Women can cry too much too. It's just a different threshold.
But you wouldn't be allowed. But is it socially acceptable for a man to be like, could you stop being so freaking emotional? You're
should
called
be.
now.
It
You're
should
called
be.
now it's called gaslighting if you do that. You're being a little,
being
you're acting
crazy.
a little crazy. You're acting a little
We
bit
got
like
a
your mother.
$20 from Boosted Yogi. When I know a shit test is coming from my wife, I'm not trying to start an argument, but ... Is that what she says?
I say just don't play and fail the shit test and go on. Like if that's
Not
what
playing
it is,
is passing the shit test.
Like fuck this shit.
Not playing
true.
is passing. So
Don't
you're
buy
playing.
into
You're
it.
kind of still playing, but yeah, that's good advice.
And I guess it would probably be less applicable to a lot of men because they're not going to see this type of content. It's actually even worse than one side isn't talking to the other. The women are getting the idea to do these shit tests, and men who just aren't sitting on TikTok have no idea it's coming.
Yep.
Right?
Well, some of them, they pose it as a phone call that they're on, like a fake phone call where they refer to them in the third person as, oh, my husband will go pick it up. See you later. And they gauge his reaction from the background. So they're recording it secretly, which is even worse.
Guys, I want you to start doing the call your girlfriend your ex-girlfriend test to see what she does. I want you to start, or actually, you know what? It's the call your girlfriend your best female friend at work test and see what she does. Just to gauge her reaction.
That would be funny.
You should do that, guys.
Yeah. That's definitely not going to lead to relationship problems.
Look, and if she gets upset, it's because she doesn't trust you. And if she doesn't trust you, how can you have a long-term relationship with somebody who doesn't trust you? Everybody makes mistakes. Yeah, we'll just let's do that.
I like it.
I think that women benefit from, in terms of evolutionary psychology, they benefit from not being forthcoming with what they're thinking or feeling. They benefit more from communicating indirectly, whether they realize they're doing it or not.
Then why do they want men to communicate their feelings so directly?
Because men don't work like that, because they're different.
So they want men to communicate their feelings directly, while women want to communicate stuff indirectly.
Yeah, because they're different.
So everyone should, rather than everybody indirectly communicating everything indirectly, one side says you yourself should communicate to me exactly how I want you to, while I communicate in riddles and sign language.
I think men should love the way that women communicate if they're not being toxic about it. If they're not being toxic about it. Emphasis on
There's
that part.
an art to it.
Cobra Commander, upset Mary, think of it this way. You say women evolved to test and manipulate with words. Men evolved with greater upper body strength to nullify any words you might utter and use force. Should we use evolution as an excuse?
You mean for like
I mean, I don't
women?
think that could be framed as the only reason why men are more physically strong and imposing than women.
I just think when
Because
this
they
stuff
have to fight
happens-
off threats in order to protect women. That's the way that it's rightly used.
and I
And
think
protect
like,
children and also hunt.
when these things, like when you're talking about these types of tests, yes, 20, 30, 40 years ago, when we were not in the middle of like a war on gender and a war on gender roles, when men and women complemented each other more, were allowed to complement each other more, all of this stuff fell in line much more easily and felt more natural. Nowadays, it's not shit testing as a way of making sure you have the best mate. There's something almost masculine about the way a woman would do it by posting it online because it's forceful inherently.
It's more like confrontational
Yes.
than you would normally see. I think that there's a broader issue at play here, though, because so many people, especially Gen Z and millennials, are perpetually stuck in a cycle of serial monogamy in relationships that don't have definitions or labels because it's all casual and we all have to be cool and detached and we don't care about commitment.
You're not allowed to care
We all have
anymore
this like
because
secret
it's-
fear of commitment, but we also like love being single. And then there's hookup culture. So the trend like this arises because you're so desperate to actually label the relationship you're in and give it boundaries, but you're going about it the entirely wrong way. But how would you know any better because you weren't taught any better?
Totally.
I think like the complementarity between men and women never disappeared. It's just that there's a constant war against it. Because, division between the sexes can be used as a tool of control.
And a lot of it, I think, also is it's like this permanent idea that there's always something like the grass is greener on the other side, which I think a lot of people fall into these days. Like people are like actually scared, like that term scared of success. It's like it's working too well. I have to find a way out because maybe I could do better. Well, you know what? That's not the way you should ever look at these things.
Like the chase is more entertaining than
And
actually being in a relationship.
I think that type of stuff destroyed. Like there's so much in television and movies of people, of men and women shown as characters who always think, well, maybe I could just do a little bit better. And that's really disturbing to me. Like when something's going really, really well, it's almost a sign of your own insecurity to not be able to appreciate it for what it is now, because you're thinking, well, maybe this could be better in the future, or something could be better in the future. Right. And that goes a lot to like a lack of ability to settle down and a lack of discipline.
I think it's not just something else could be better. I think it's like I could find someone to serve my interests better.
Yes.
That's the way a lot of selfish people are looking at it, unfortunately. I've heard, I mean, I don't know why exactly. I've heard that Gen Z is super prone to cheating on each other in relationships, like in dating. It's just normal for Gen Z. Like this is part of Gen Z dating culture now. They all cheat on each other. It's
and
like,
they don't feel any guilt, I'm sure. I wonder if that's it's like they just don't feel any guilt for doing it because they haven't been taught to feel any guilt for it.
I guess not.
That's disturbing.
Yeah,
or
it
get
is.
attachment to that person in the first place.
Yeah, if you don't feel any strong attachment anyways, and none of your friends can even acknowledge what the hell a real relationship is because nobody wants to actually take things serious or keep it or they want to keep it casual, why would you feel any guilt for doing it?
And if it happened to you, then you feel justified because, you know, someone made you feel that way first, so you want to make them feel that way, that betrayed feeling.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.